Psychotic and iconic.
You're one of one.
I know.
Psychotic and iconic.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 127 of Psychotic and Iconic, powered by Playmaker, brought to you by Prize Picks, daily fantasy made easy. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in to the live stream tonight. Paul's here, along with my co-hosts Nick Theories and Philly Phil. If you're tuned in on Facebook or YouTube, please share the stream. We are also available on propshq.com. Thank you to everybody that likes, follows, and subscribes to all of our platforms. As always, if you're sitting at home with a dusty-ass shirt, slide in our DMs for some fantastic fabric. We got everything you want. Tanks, hoodies, long sleeves. Nick gives it a long. And we got T-shirts.
That's how you want to start this pod? I like it.
Yeah, bro, I'm ready.
Right
I'm energized. How was your weekend?
Eventful. I'll say that. It was fun. I had a good time. Went to the Christmas Village with Alyssa.
You didn't hit my jack all weekend. I was kind of upset.
Well,
I'll talk about that.
I feel like you have like an underlining beef with me. I don't know what it is. I've been trying to decipher it for a little while now.
Yeah, we got on FaceTime earlier. We hashed it out like a couple of grown-ups.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened. It might have been due to lack communication or whatnot. But
we got to communicate better.
We do.
Yeah.
We're too good for that.
I know. Phil, how was your weekend?
It was good, man. I had a wedding on Sunday.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was dressed like, looked like I was going to a fucking funeral in all black. But
Did you get down?
I got down.
Yeah, you was getting groovy on the dance floor.
Oh, real
Just
shit.
cut up the
If
tile?
you don't have more fun after the wedding, I feel sorry for you.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. Oh, that's a good discussion. Should you have more fun during the wedding or after?
Well, during the wedding, no. You got. Well, here's the thing. The DJ.
I'm just saying.
The DJ makes the wedding. Shout out Joey Vespi, the best DJ in South Jersey, maybe in the world, to be honest.
Yeah, he's
So I want to say that, but you need to have a good DJ at the wedding. I mean, I have fun after too, obviously.
What's the better part for you?
Probably, I would say after.
I'll be respectful and say during, because I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody's wedding, but afterwards it is heat.
Yeah. Yeah, because the cones are stuffed.
Oh, you already
lights
know.
are dim, candles are lit.
Yeah.
You know
No
how
doubt
it
about
goes. All right.
His earrings.
Yeah.
You're rocking, bro. It's a wrap. What the fuck are we talking about?
All right, let's get into it now. We are starting off the show. Eagles versus Giants. Eagles smacked them 48-22. Tell me a little bit. What'd you see?
That you were right. You said the Giants cannot score with the Eagles. This game was going to be a blowout. So credit the Pauls on that one for saying this game wasn't going to be close. I was under the impression that the Giants would keep it close due to division game. But they're not in the Eagles league at all. I don't think anybody is.
It looked like they were playing a high school team.
They were completely outmatched. And I don't think the Giants are that good. I personally, I've seen the Giants when they lost, when they started off really hot, they started to fall off. But as soon as they started to fall off, I knew it was over for them.
But you know what's funny?
It's not sustainable with Daniel Jones. You know what you're going to get. He's not going to win you the Super Bowl, bro. Like,
you know how, you know what's funny? Everybody was talking about Brian Daboll in the beginning when they were 6-1, myself included. But they were no match for the Eagles. But here's the thing, too, that I think is being missed a little bit. They weren't even a match in the coaching scale. The gap between Nick Sirianni and Brian Daboll was on full display. And I think that it's a little bit underrated, the leap that Nick Sirianni took. Like when he started talking about the flower pot and the roots and stuff, and we were laughing at him and clowning him on this show. That's when they kind of figured it out. And last year when they were 9-8, Jalen Hurts looked okay amongst all the turmoil that they were coming off of with the Carson Wentz shit. Like you look back now and it's like, okay, he can coach a little bit. And then you see the explosion this year.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, like Jeffrey Lurie made the right coaching hire. He found him at the perfect time. Because Nick Sirianni's legit and he's the coach of the year. And I don't think it's close.
You know, I'm actually having a hard time battling between what's the best Eagles unit, their offense or their defense. Because their defense is quietly, I think it's the best in football.
I would say
you could say San Fran. I think a lot of people are going to say San Fran. But the Eagles are number one in interceptions.
And takeaways, right?
And they're the number one team in sacks. So I understand the Niners, and they have great linebackers. They got fantastic defensive ends. They get after the quarterback. But the Eagles are kind of slightly overrated in that department as well. So I think the Eagles defense needs to get a little bit more love than it has been getting. I think Jalen Hurts he's bloomed into this great quarterback coming from last year to now, where I feel like it takes attention away from the defense. So,
I agree, because the thing is the Eagles are putting up 30 and 40 points at will.
Right.
That's a really good point. I would say the offense is better, but the Eagles can beat you in many different ways: defense, offense, on the ground, passing, special teams. And then you have to remember, because Jake Elliott's a good kicker. And then the thing is too, is like you have Darius Slay. Bradbury was a huge pickup. Bradbury's going to get a contract next year. I don't know if it's going to be with the Eagles, but he's getting himself a contract next year. And then you got CJ Gardner from the Saints. Like, their defense is loaded.
It depends on the deal. I would probably bring back Bradbury, because
I would too. Absolutely.
Because here's my thing. It's that the league isn't a passing league. So if you have good corners and you have good defensive line, you could beat anybody. And Nick, you're going to cause problems with any team in the league.
You know what else is something that's underrated too? Maddox and Epps are awesome.
Yeah, they're great. They're great players.
They're excellent.
They
3
play
and
their
4
role perfectly.
Yeah, they are really good too. And sometimes I feel like it gets glossed over about them, because you have Slay, who is a shutdown corner, and you have Bradbury, who I wouldn't say is a shutdown, but Bradbury can lock up.
Is AJ Brown a top 5 wide receiver
this season? Absolutely.
Is he in the league?
In the league, no, but I do.
What about AJ Brown that gets disrespected and he's not put along with Jamar Chase's? And because I can make a case, I would take AJ Brown over Jamar Chase. I can make a case.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, because Jamar Chase had one good year this year. He's been good, but he started off slow.
Let me ask you something real fast. Jamar Chase is, in a sense, big play dependent. I feel like Jamar Chase's year last year for fantasy and from the yard rack up, he was taking 10-yard passes to the house.
Sure.
So no, I don't want to say like that. Not that he just relies on that, because Jamar Chase is awesome. And I would say that this year, AJ Brown's been better. But I would say coming into the season, you would say the top 5 wide receivers would be Tyreek Hill. No order. Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams. I think those are your 5.
Not mad about it.
No, I think those are your 5. Put them in any order you want. You can make the argument Diggs is the number 1 receiver. Then I would say 6, 7, and 8, you're looking at AJ Brown, Jamar Chase.
Well, I don't think AJ Brown was as high in the
No, I did not have him as a top 10. I had him at 11 or 12. And you had Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, I did.
Now the thing is though, is that with AJ Brown also is that Devontae Smith is like a 1B.
Well, our audience thinks AJ Brown is the top 5, definitely top 5.
This year, absolutely.
The Goffar says AJ Brown is the top 5 wide receiver. Dave says AJ is definitely top 5. So definitely, which means they think it's concrete.
Yeah. Concrete. This year, there's not really much you can say about why AJ Brown isn't a top 5 wide receiver. Look at his numbers. I think he has 10 passing touchdowns too.
And to me, the numbers are great, right? Like that is the ultimate thing when you talk about wide receivers, and I totally get it. But I think the most underrated aspect of AJ Brown is the presence of that offense.
Absolutely.
Like it opens up everything for the Eagles. Everything. The running game, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, like it opens up other players around him to get space.
It opens up the quarterback as well.
Absolutely. So like his presence is super underrated. And I feel like to be a top 5 guy, you got to have that impact on an offense. And he has that impact.
He does.
So that's where I'm questioning, where's the love?
Yeah.
Like, where's the AJ Brown love? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like when we're talking about the other guys, it should be the same.
The thing is, though, is like with the Eagles have not gotten respect all year. And it's like they are just now, you have teams like I saw like Colin Cowherd had him ranked as 1. Nick Wright, I think, had them at like 3 or 4. And like, I laugh at that.
What, the Eagles?
Yeah.
The ranking as a team?
Yeah. And like, I laugh at like best team at top 10 teams in the league.
So let me ask you a question. So piggyback off that, not to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why do you think that?
What?
That the Eagles are never mentioned as the best team?
Because I think the fact there's a few reasons. Number 1, you have Patrick Mahomes, who has been pretty dominant with losing Tyreek Hill. So I think that right there automatically gives a narrative. Then I think the love fest of Josh Allen. And then I just like, for me, nobody believed in Hurts before the year. And the improvement that Hurts made has been otherworldly. It's been so big that I don't think people have actually wrapped their head around it. And because you had people saying like the Eagles year was contingent upon Jalen Hurts taking that leap. And he's more than taken that leap. He's the MVP. But I said this last year too. I didn't necessarily think last year it was so much that Jalen Hurts had a noodle arm. I thought it was more about timing, because the problem was that the ball wasn't getting there, and the ball wasn't getting there on deep throws, intermediate, and I kept saying, I think it's the fucking timing. I don't think it's that he has a noodle arm. He doesn't have the strongest arm in the game, but the timing now, he's hitting players in stride, and that it's different. But you can see he put the work in the offseason.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
it shows.
Like I said, the Eagles with Jalen Hurts taking that leap, the Eagles now, like, they can be seriously good. I hate to say the word dynasty, but with 2 first-round picks next year, and the Saints stink, so that's going to be a top 10 pick, and 2 seconds next year, and you own your first next year too. If you hit on a couple of those draft picks, I mean, you're gonna be loaded. You have AJ Brown locked up. Jalen Hurts is going to get locked up. You have Devontae Smith on his rookie deal. You have the best offensive line in football. Miles Sanders has a 1,000-yard season. You have Boston Scott, the giant killer. You know, like the Eagles are in good shape. You have Nick Sirianni, who looks like a top 10 coach. I think he's now the betting favorite for coach of the year.
He makes adjustments.
He does. They're a good team. And I think the Eagles are the best team in the NFL. I think it's clear cut. And I think that Jalen Hurts is the MVP. And I don't see the argument against it. Because here's the thing. If this was Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts blowing teams out and dominating like this, they're the best quarterbacks in the league. They're the best ever. Look what they're doing with their team. But that's not the same love for Jalen Hurts.
See, I'm happy you mentioned Mahomes when we talk about Hurts, because I feel the same way. Like, I feel like if Jalen Hurts would have put up a Patrick Mahomes game, 3 touchdown passes, but had 3 interceptions, you would hear the rumblings. Oh my God, Hurts, he threw 3 picks. That's concerning, blah, blah, blah. But we don't ever say that about Patrick Mahomes. When Mahomes throws interceptions, it almost kind of gets ignored.
Yeah, they don't. It never counts against.
And that's what I hate. Like, I understand what you're saying about the Josh Allen love fest, but I also feel the same thing about Patrick Mahomes too. Like, it's just one of those things where he could do no wrong.
Yep.
He could throw the most craziest interception where the guy was sitting right there and he threw it right to him, and nobody will talk about Patrick Mahomes.
That's because the throw that he made to Jerick McKinnon, because it was flashy, overlooks everything. And it was amazing. That was an amazing play.
It's a cool play.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's athletic play.
You are 100% right, is that, and I don't know if it's because he's won a Super Bowl or he's been an MVP and everything like that, but he gets pass after pass when, like, you had 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had 3 interceptions, because if that was Jalen Hurts that had 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, every single Chiefs fan and Patrick Mahomes fan and everyone that's an Eagles hater would say that that's why he's not the MVP.
And here comes the decline of the Eagles. Hurts is going to be the reason why the Eagles lose. That would be the narrative.
The Eagles have never had this whole season, or Jalen Hurts have had a lull. They've never been bad through a few games. They had a rough patch when they lost to the Commanders, and then they played poorly against the Colts, and then they revved it back up and smacked the Titans, smacked the Packers, smacked the Giants. And it's like the beginning of the year when Josh Allen dominated the Rams and then he dominated the Titans. Everybody, they're going to the Super Bowl, MVP, blah, blah, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. Here we go. But that's never been the case for Jalen Hurts, and I don't understand it. I don't get it. It can't. If somebody could just make it make sense to me, I'll shut up. But until then, I need to know why.
It might be coming down to because Mahomes won the Super Bowl.
I think it is that.
And that's fine. That's fair. He won the bowl. He's able to make mistakes. Everybody's able to make mistakes, right? But when he does it, it just completely gets ignored. And that's where I have a problem with.
Yep.
But Hurts, he threw 200 yards, had 1 touchdown, but he won the football game.
Dude, he has 20 touchdown passes and 3 interceptions. I mean, that's a good season. Like, that's a good season.
Like, and I was arguing with somebody in the comments when I put up the Jalen Hurts video of him being the MVP.
Which social media? I didn't even see that.
This was on YouTube.
Did you dig him out?
Of course I did.
Okay.
He said Patrick Mahomes was the MVP, and I said, well, state your case. And he stated that he stated passing numbers, right? He said Mahomes has 400 more passing yards, right? He's got 900 more passing yards, and he has 11 more touchdowns.
Mhm.
But I can argue, okay, that's great. But Mahomes also has 11 interceptions versus Jalen Hurts, who has 3. 22 and 3, 22 touchdowns and 3 interceptions is a much better ratio than 33-11, right? However, so then I go down. All right, that's cool. Mahomes has him in passing yards, touchdown passes. That's all great and dandy. Maybe QBR, the rating. I get it. However, when I look at the rushing, because we got to take that into account, because that's the style of quarterback he is. You have to take a rushing into account when you evaluate quarterbacks these days. It's just what it is, right? So Hurts has 686 rushing yards, 10 touchdowns, and Mahomes has 280 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I think like it kind of makes up for the passing deficiency versus Mahomes, but that's not Hurts' style. Hurts can beat you with his arm, but he can also beat you with his feet. He's more dangerous, in my opinion, on his feet.
Of course.
In my opinion, like a lot of people could say, he had the arm and his running ability can be kind of equal, but I see him being so successful is due to the threat of him going out, getting outside the pocket, running for 20 yards. Like that's hard to defend.
Yeah.
And I think, like, to me, when I'm defending a quarterback like that, that's more nightmarish than Patrick Mahomes. And it sounds crazy. It does, because Mahomes can make any play on the field. But when you have a dual threat quarterback that could do it all, like a run, can pass, and it has weapons around him, that's going to keep me up at night.
You know what's funny? I always talk about Lamar Jackson. I'm a Lamar Jackson fan. I am on record saying that in a close game late, I would take Lamar Jackson over Josh Allen. I don't care what anybody says. That's just my personal opinion, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. But my point is that you can make the argument that right now Jalen Hurts is just as good as a passer as Lamar Jackson.
If not better.
Correct. So that's my point but Lamar ran crazy, won an MVP, and it blew up. Now, look, that team is terrible. I will defend Lamar Jackson on that. He is playing with a B team at wide receiver and running back because they're always hurt. But I'm just saying that the Jalen Hurts' passing inability, quote unquote, it got blown out of proportion.
See, I'm not a Lamar guy. And I don't want to make this a Lamar discussion, but from 2019, he's regressed as a passer based on numbers. Yeah, right? Passing in 2019, he had 36 touchdowns. 2020, he had 26.
It's hard to judge.
2021, he had 16. 2022, he had 17. I'm talking about passing. Running ability, Lamar Jackson is as good as anybody in football. Yep. I am never going to decline that. But where my beef is with Lamar is I want to see that Jalen Hurts leap. Like Jalen Hurts, you notice a difference between last season and this season.
It's 2 different quarterbacks.
It is 2 different quarterbacks, and the Eagles are 2 different teams because of it.
Yep.
My thing with Lamar, and I don't want to make this discussion about Lamar, like I said, but I think Jalen Hurts deserves a lot more respect. I mean, you could definitely put him in the argument with Lamar Jackson. Yeah, he doesn't have an MVP, but he could this year.
He's going to have an MVP in about 4 weeks. And
now what? So now people think Lamar is still better than Hurts? How can you say that? He has an MVP, just same as Lamar.
We're going to talk about this a little later.
He's ascending. That's what you want to see in a quarterback. When your quarterback is ascending year after year and not like stagnant at 3,000 passing yards or just below it and not getting, consistency in touchdown passes. I understand the state of the team with the Ravens, but you got to be better than that. If you want $50 million a year, you got to be elevating your game. That's where I am at with Lamar Jackson, and that's exactly why I don't trust him in the playoffs. I do not trust him because you got to be able to make the key throws to win the tight ball games in the playoffs.
One thing before we switch to the next game. Before the season started, do you remember a quarterback that I hate? I feel really bad for what happened to him last night. We're going to talk about him a little bit later. But the quarterback that I'm not too fond of because I think he gets too much love for not being good enough, Kyler Murray. I said last year, Jalen Hurts to me looks like a better quarterback than Kyler Murray. And this year, so far, I'm right. Jalen Hurts is better than Kyler Murray.
I don't see an argument.
So those are, but again, if you go ask 28 GMs, oh no, Kyler Murray. But again, it's like, why is Jalen Hurts not getting the love and respect?
I disagree.
Maybe not now.
I disagree.
Because Kyler really struggled this year.
And now that he's hurt, his stock goes a lot.
We're going to talk about him in a little bit. So hold on to that.
We will.
Phil, give us
I know what you're talking about. You're going by the style.
Correct. They're very similar styles. It's just, Where's the love? Where is the love? Because all I hear is doubt about Jalen Hurts. Can he keep this up? Oh, it's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. It's just like, can't you appreciate what the guy's done? I mean, it's rare. It is rare to see a quarterback make that big of a leap. Like, he's not a Joe Burrow, a Mahomes, a Allen, a Manning, a Brady talent. He's not. But he made one of those crazy leaps. And I know a lot of it is predicated on having A.J. Brown. You need a wide receiver. You need that. That's why I said Justin Fields and the Bears. They got to get him a fucking wide receiver. You have to get him that. The young quarterbacks pop when they get one.
Sure.
Dak did it. Tua did it. Josh Allen did it. So when you see that, but it's just like when I see it, I'm like, man, it's so frustrating because it's not right. And the leap that he made is a testament to his work ethic, and he should be commended for it. He shouldn't be, more ridiculed than he was. Like, accept it for what it is. He made a huge fucking leap and put the Eagles in a great position moving forward.
Well, I'm going to say this. If the Eagles don't make the Super Bowl, it's the biggest disappointment. It's a huge disappointment. They are by far the best team in the NFL, and it's not even close. They're the best team in the NFC, and it's not even close.
I agree.
And if you want to say the Niners, go ahead. Let me see Brock Purdy take his ass to Philly
in an NFC championship.
In an NFC championship game in the freezing cold.
Yeah.
Good fucking luck.
We will fucking destroy
the Eagles would beat them.
Yeah.
In Philly. I'm not even worried about the Niners because of Jimmy G injury. I feel like that hurt them. And now Debo, we don't know the status of him. I heard it's gonna be a couple weeks, 3 weeks.
Yep.
And he'll be ready for the playoffs, but they're not beating the Eagles. Nobody's beating the Eagles. It would be a massive disappointment if the Eagles do not reach the Super Bowl.
I would say I would pull it back a little bit. They need to make the conference championship.
No, they have to.
But I like that. I like that.
I think it's Super Bowl or nothing, because when you're dominant and you're 12-1 and you're whipping teams' asses, and you are taking control, this is a Super Bowl run. I mean, look at the NFC. The Bucks stink. The Packers stink. A lot of teams stink. The only good teams I can say in the NFC are the Cowboys and the Niners.
And the
Niners just lost their quarterback.
And the Vikings.
And you could say the Vikings.
But
I don't think the Vikings can fuck with the Eagles.
And I'll tell you what, the only team out of those three, and I hate to say this, the only team that could beat the Eagles in Philly is Dallas.
Because of their pass rush. And I totally get it. Their defense is really good.
Yeah,
but they're not beating the Eagles. The Eagles are a much better team, and this is their year.
And Jalen Hurts is getting better.
This has to be their year. Like, this would be a massive accomplishment for Jalen Hurts in his first year. Give him confidence, and I love the Eagles here moving forward. I think they're by far the best team in the NFL, and it's not close, man. And Jalen Hurts is the MVP, and to me, it's not close.
And Nick Sirianni is the coach of the year.
It's really not close to me.
That's FR.
Yeah, and so I love Hurts. I've grew to be a huge fan of his. I supported him in the offseason. I always said the Eagles should give him a chance. But, there's certain things and qualities that he has that you just can't teach. Leadership, heart, just the mental focus of wanting to get better for his teammates, just supporting his teammates. You could tell they rally around him. Like, that is certain things that you just can't teach.
Nope.
And to be 12-1, to be by and far the best team in the NFL, and to get that loss off, just that one little blemish on the record, that can actually elevate a team.
Absolutely.
Because they already tasted, a failure. They tasted failures, bro. And you need that as a team to grow.
Yep.
And that to me was the biggest, that's a positive that they lost.
For sure.
Because now if you talk about the undefeated season, it becomes a distraction, and you do not want that for a young quarterback heading into the postseason. So I love the Eagles' position here.
Love that. Go off, King. Philly Phil, give me something real fast while we switch to whatever.
I came here to fucking pod. That's what the fuck I do, man.
You got grape ice back in your veins.
Tuesday and Thursday, I'm back, bro. I am back, yo.
That's the title. Yeah, grape ice.
Yeah. I came here to pod, man.
All right, guys. Now we are moving on. We are talking about the 49ers busting the Bucks wide open, 35-7.
You switched up on me.
Why?
I thought we had the Lions next.
Oh, we did. My bad. Let's do the Bucks real fast. And we'll do the Bucks.
Let's do the Bucks. Let's get them out of the way because they're hot garbage.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need answers. I need answers, Nick.
I do too.
35-7, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions for Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. Or was it 1 interception?
2.
It was 2. That's what I thought.
Really, 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 really poor decisions.
So I'm confused here because this season, Tom Brady has now lost to Mitchell Trubisky, an XFL quarterback, and the last pick in the draft. Now there's reports coming out saying that he has a players only meeting the night before games where he tweaks the game plan to his liking. Also concerning, because that tells me, even though I've been saying this, that he has no faith in Todd Bowles because Todd stinks. But my thing is I don't think he should be doing that. But at that point, if he doesn't trust them, what's going on? So I think the Buccaneers, I can't even believe I'm saying this with a Tom Brady-led team. The Buccaneers right now look like the team in the playoffs that every NFC team would like to play in the first round. Like, because here's the thing.
Can't disagree with
the
that.
Eagles or the Cowboys are going to be the 5th seed, most likely the Cowboys. So they're going to get the winner of the NFC South.
It will be the Cowboys.
So they're going to get the winner of the NFC South. It could be the Panthers.
Could be.
It could be the Falcons, or it could be the Bucs. I think without a doubt the Cowboys win that game, no matter who it is.
Yeah. I don't disagree. Unless the Bucs can catch somewhat fire. I just don't see it. I've been waiting for it all season long. And again, they just shoot themselves in the foot. It was 7-0. Brady throws a 68-yard touchdown strike to Mike Evans, where they've been struggling to get big plays, explosive plays to get points on the board. And then sure enough, what do you know? A holding penalty on Donovan Smith to negate that. Now it's 7-0. The Bucs are punting. And then now here comes the Niners. They answer. It's 14-0. And now you're in a spiral. Now you completely negated the running game. You can't run anyway. So now you become a predictable offense. You become shotgun, we're going to pass.
Nick.
It's predictable. You got to be unpredictable.
They stink, bro. Like I genuinely, like, I don't understand it, because here's the thing. I always said, like I said this last week, I always laugh because Tom Brady, the ball always bounces his way. Like the Rams game, Super Bowls, like the ball just seems to bounce his way. Penalties, it always does. But when I see him this year, and I just like, I watch the game sometimes in disbelief, because I'm like, how is an offense led by him this, like, what's like inept? Like they just look, there is nothing there. There's nothing there.
There's no juice. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah. Like what do the Buccaneers do well on offense?
Hurry up.
That's it.
But the problem is you'll tire out your defense.
You'll be tired after the first quarter.
I do definitely think they should mix it up and they should sprinkle that in there, but you can't fall behind 21-0 or 28-0 on the road. You're never going to win.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You got to put points on the board. But again, it comes back to the first drive. I feel like if the Bucs score there 7-7, I'm starting to think that we're getting a different game. I'm starting to think we're going to get a different game. I think momentum was starting to shift. You know, that matters in football. When you lose 7 points and you punt and then the other team gets a touchdown and you're down 14-0 instead of tied 7-7 on the road, that is a completely different ballgame. You're never going to win.
It's demoralizing.
It's demoralizing, and you're out of it. At that point, like, again, it kind of brings me back to the Panthers game when Evans dropped that ball. That's a touchdown. That would be 7-0. Carolina's like, fuck, we're just here going through the motions. But you gave them life, and they got back in the game, and they beat them because you gave them confidence. And that's kind of how I feel with the Bucs. It's like they're missing that confidence, that swagger. They have no swagger. They have no juice. They are completely disarray. And I'm going to say this right here, and I'm going to be honest with you. Ain't no way in hell Tom Brady's coming back to Tampa Bay. I don't give a fuck what you say. I don't care. He is not coming back to the Buccaneers. That is for sure.
Do the Bucs stink?
The Bucs stink. It's not the talent. It's more or less the coaching.
Nick, I'm being serious when I say this. I'm not even trying to toot my own horn. I've been saying this since what, week 5?
It's the
literally
coaching.
Since week 5, where I'm like, is it like I was saying before? Is it Tom or is it Todd? And then I was watching it. I'm like, okay, yeah, Brady has made some bad throws, but in his defense,
he's been really, really bad.
Nick,
I mean, like,
but in his defense,
was terrible.
He's not in rhythm.
No,
so it's hard to do that, and you got to be in rhythm. So my thing is like I go back to it.
Okay.
Like with it, he's not in rhythm because the offense is just it's terrible. The offense is so bad, and I just like you have Godwin, Evans. You know, I don't understand it, man. Whatever's left of Julio Jones, and they just can't get it together. And I'm serious, man. If they play Dallas in the first round, Dallas is going to bust them up.
I'm not going to go that far yet because that's 4 weeks down the road. But at what it's looking like right now is that the Bucs, they are looking like they are going to win the division. However, it is not a lock. Not a lock by any means. They play the Bengals. They play the Cardinals. However, the Cardinals are going to be without Kyler Murray. They're going to play against Colt McCoy. It's going to be Christmas. It's going to be in Arizona. That's the bad spot for them. But then they play the Panthers, and they finish off with the Falcons. They have to win the last two. They have to. If they don't win the last two, they're done. If they lose one of those games, they're in trouble.
Yep.
So my thing is, it's like, when do you catch fire? I don't know. I don't see that here. I feel like this is going to be one of those measly teams that maybe sneaks in the playoffs, and they're just going to be.
Do you think the Bucs win the NFC South?
I can confidently say I'm not confident in that. I'm not confident in that.
I think they win the NFC South.
I think they do, but I'm not 100% confident, and I'm being dead ass honest. Like, you can't score 7 points a week and expect to win. It's just not going to happen. Not when your defense is getting shredded.
They struggle to score 14 points, bro. Like I can't even believe I'm saying that.
I can't believe.
Tom Brady
I just don't understand it. I don't get it.
Because I genuinely don't believe. I don't think it's over for him. I don't think it's over.
I don't think so either, Mike. And I know that's a big discussion around the league and around Twitter and Cole. You know, they like to pinpoint things about Tom Brady's drop off.
Yeah,
I think the dude could play. I think he still has it. I think he's got the physical attributes to still play in his league. I just think he needs something perfect around him. Like he can't be the Tom Brady to elevate practice squad players anymore. It's not, he ain't that guy.
And he's 45 years old.
And that's okay. Like, you know, like before I would disagree with you, but now I'm like, all right, well, he just needs players around him
he has players though. Like that's what's so frustrating.
He does, but the thing is, it's like I look at Mike Evans, like where the fuck's he at? Like he looks like a shell of himself. Chris Godwin, I don't know. He's inconsistent as hell. Then you got Julio Jones. Julio is Julio, right?
He's Jones Julio.
Then they signed Russell Gage, who was supposed to be a big factor for this offense. He was out for a majority of the year, and he's supposed to be that third down chain moving guy. That's why they signed Cole Beasley in the year, because they needed somebody to move the chains. And we've been talking about this on this podcast for the entire year about how the Bucs struggle to convert. And it's like they keep getting on third downs, 3rd and 10, they have zero chance to convert. They're punting. They might as well just punt on 3rd and 10. I'm dead serious. Yeah. Just punt the fucking football. And I can't believe I'm saying about Tom Brady offense, but it's the reality of the situation. They are like literally dead last in third downs. It doesn't make any sense. You're missing Gronk. You're missing a tight end that can, go across the middle consistently, get those, and get those first downs, move the chains. They lack taking deep shots. Like, I don't understand it. You got Mike Evans, you got Tom Brady. Throw it fucking deep. Good things happen when they throw it deep. Yeah, Mike Evans' touchdown didn't count, but good things happened when you threw it deep. They scored a touchdown when you threw it deep. Yeah, it was holding, but it still is successful in its own respect. Like, you can't get away from that. You can't do 5-yard dink and dunk passes. Like, that's got to stop. You got to move the ball downfield, and that's what they're missing with Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians' offense was risk it, no biscuit, and they threw the ball down the field. That was Brady's strength. That's what Brady came to Tampa for, because he finally had weapons, and he could finally throw the ball the way he wanted to. And they were successful. They won the Super Bowl.
I know.
So it's just like there's a lot of things, and they can't run the football. I mean, there's a multitude of things, but the biggest issue with them is the offensive line. You will never be successful without an offensive line. You can't run the football. You can't protect your quarterback. The quarterback's 45 years old. If you get him off the spot, chances are he's incomplete.
Correct.
So it's just now you decrease your chances of winning the football game when somebody can dictate the spot of your quarterback. Yeah. That's where they're struggling. And I think that's the biggest problem. I don't see it fixing anytime soon, especially this year. I just think they're just in disarray. I don't believe in them for the playoffs, and that's just where I'm at.
On the flip side, what do you think the Niners' ceiling is with Brock Purdy? Because I see everybody's all high on him. I don't think that they win a playoff game with Brock Purdy.
We live in a bandwagon world, bro.
You know what bothers me the most about this? If Brock Purdy goes on a playoff run, right? If Brock Purdy goes on a playoff run, Jimmy G stinks. But if Brock Purdy doesn't go on a playoff run, that doesn't mean that Jimmy G is good. Now, both things can't be true because Kyle Shanahan's record without Jimmy G is trash. With Jimmy G, it's excellent. But those same people will argue that Kyle Shanahan's a genius and he can win with anybody until he's got to win with anybody. But then Jimmy G comes in and Jimmy G stinks too. So that's where I'm at with it. Jimmy G, degular, just doesn't get respected for winning.
He's just a guy.
Then they say, QB wins aren't a stat. Yes, they are.
They are, because it teaches you to manage the game and not make mistakes.
Yeah, they are a stat. And that's my thing with this Brock Purdy shit. And he has looked good, actually, to be honest. But he's played a game and a half. He's played a game and a half. So we'll see. We'll see. But I don't think that they go on the road anywhere. Oh, no, they'll have a home playoff game because they're going to win the division.
Played a game and a half. The first play of the game, the Bucs heat his ass up. They bring the blitz. They fucking smack him.
Yep.
And that was another turning point where the Bucs get a 12-yard sack, right?
Yeah.
That's momentum, bro. You're on the road. They're at 2nd and 22. They're looking to just, kind of get a couple yards, and punt. Now they started off that drive with a touchdown because that became a penalty with passing, with roughing the passer, which honestly, the roughing the passer shit is really hurting the game.
That's a joke.
I think it's a joke. I don't know where they go from here. I mean, what are guys supposed to do? They're 300 pounds. They're moving at the speed of light. They got helmets on. They got shoulder pads. And you want these guys to completely sack the quarterback in a way where where nobody can get hurt. I mean, what do you want them to do? You can't play defense.
If you're 300 fucking pounds and you're running a 4.5 and you are running at the quarterback and he tucks it, your body weight can't land on him. There's nothing you can do.
And this is a great point. So I was listening to the Let's Go podcast. It was Tom Brady's podcast. I listen to it every week just to talk about his breakdown of the game and what things won. So I heard him say, in relation to the roughing the passer penalties, and he said, if the offensive line doesn't block a free defender and the defender comes in and sacks the quarterback and he hits him as hard as he can, because he's making a play and he's making a play for the defense, a positive play for their defense, he's going to get flagged if he hits him too hard. But now a negative on the offense just became a positive.
Yep.
Whereas your guy didn't block him. He missed an assignment.
Yeah.
So now we're going to get penalized because your guy missed an assignment and my guy just happened to kill your quarterback. To me, that was a great point by him. And I sat there. I was like, man, that's a really good.
That's from a quarterback too.
That's a quarterback observation. And I'm sure Brady would love to get every single call, but he's being objective to the game because he cares about the game.
Yep.
The game of football matters to him. So the way to develop the game forward and make it a better game for the future is to get rid of these stupid rules because they fucked up. I sacked your quarterback. And the reason why you throw a flag on me because you didn't like the way I sacked him. Well, cry me a river. The guy didn't block me. Yep. What do you want me to do? You want me to go half speed and then just tackle him and then kind of lightly toss him on the ground? It doesn't work like that. You're playing a fucking NFL. You're playing a professional sport.
That's
where
physical.
Guys are going thousands of miles an hour and they're fucking built out. They have testosterone levels at the wazoo. They're looking to kill somebody, man. You have pads on. Yeah. It's a violent sport. It's what you sign up for. So for me, it's I hate that. It was such a true statement that I sat back and I'm like, man, the NFL needs to fix that because the game is really going to slip. It's going to cost somebody a big time game, a championship game, a Super Bowl. It's coming. Yeah. It is fucking coming, and it's going to ruin the game. I'm telling you. We're gonna be like, oh man, if the refs didn't call that, roughing the passer on Joe Burrow, he would be a Super Bowl champion.
Yep.
And now it's gonna hurt his legacy because he lost the Super Bowl because of a call. But he still lost the Super Bowl, so it's always gonna hurt his legacy.
I agree.
If a scenario came up like that, I'm just saying. But yeah. I think it's bullshit.
Yeah,
I think it's bullshit. Those penalties they need to figure
the one out. On Herbert was a joke.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
What do you want him to do?
I know.
That was a perfect play by the defense, and now you just completely shitted on the defense's, creativity and aggressiveness, and it became a negative for him. To me, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. You should get rewarded for making plays like that on defense. Period. That's how I feel. That's how I feel about it. It doesn't make any sense. It's just like the indefensive receiver, right? Like, what can the defensive guy do? The guy's making a play on the football. The guy catches it 2 yards ahead of him. Yeah. The only thing I have to do is, okay, I got to get the ball out of his hands. I'm going to hit him as hard as I can so the ball can score, so it can come out. But what are you just supposed to do?
Brian Dawkins wouldn't survive in the NFL.
He would never survive. He wouldn't survive. What's his name? Sanders.
Bob Sanders.
He wouldn't survive.
Ed Reid. Troy Polamalu. They were headhunters.
Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
These guys would never survive in this league. They would probably wouldn't even want to play as long as they did.
Yeah.
Because the rules are just too cupcake. There's nothing they can do. They're fucking 300 pounds going 20 miles an hour into humans. You can't expect a human with equipment on to change his direction of hitting a guy. And that quick. Yep. It's not sustainable and it's not feasible. You got to fix the rule. It's going to hurt somebody.
Phil, give me something. Now, everybody, we are going to the Lions and the Vikings.
Yo.
Dan Campbell is coming.
Yo, let them fuck around and make the playoffs, bro. They'll be scary.
They will, dude, because their offense.
Because they were the only team, if I am, outside of Washington, the Lions were the only team to come close to beat the Eagles.
Week 1, and they were in a shootout because they could win that type of game.
They can.
Do you think with the Lions? Do you think they make the playoffs? Their only path is to win out.
They have to win out, right?
I'm pretty sure they do. Yes.
Why?
I don't think they hold any tiebreakers. I think in the beginning of the year when they were like 1-5 or whatever, they got smoked. But look, they're playing awesome. They can win out if you see their schedule.
I'm gonna look at it right now.
I know they played the Jets this week.
I see the Jets. They're in New York.
I think that's a dub.
They play Carolina in Carolina.
Dub.
They play Bears at home.
Dub.
And they play the Lions. I mean, they play the Packers in Green Bay.
That should be a dub because I think it's going to be Jordan Love playing.
Yeah. So no, these are definitely winnable games. But again, it's the Lions. I mean, how much trust do I have in them historically?
Yeah.
To pull this off.
Do you think that Jared Goff is their quarterback?
I think he should be considered. I think he's had a really good year. I think
Jared Goff can play a little bit.
I think he could play. I think he just needs a right system. I think he's a system quarterback.
They're fucking loaded with
talent.
talent.
With that.
They're loaded with talent on
There's
offense.
nothing wrong with being a system quarterback. If you are a system quarterback and you thrive in that system and you're winning football games, you're putting up good stats, you're scoring points, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with that.
Alex Smith.
You give me a system quarterback that could score 30 points in a blimp, I take that over anybody.
Absolutely.
Why not? Just play defense and I'll win majority of the games.
Yeah. I want to go to the next team because obviously
What about you? Do you think Jared Goff should be their quarterback?
I do. I think
next year.
I think he's fine. Yeah. I think
you don't think the Lions should like test the waters for a quarterback?
No, I think they should pay Jared Goff. Give him a 3 or 4 year deal.
Goff. Wow.
I think he should give him a 3 or 4 year deal and make him their quarterback and build around. They got something there, dude. I really believe in them. I'm serious. They got high draft pick this year because the Rams stink.
I think, and here's the thing with the Lions. If they don't make the postseason, I think this year was a success in general because they established a culture, a Dan Campbell culture. So now I feel like they're going to bring in free agents that fit that culture.
They just need some defense.
They need defense. They need dogs in that defense.
But look, Aiden Hutchinson, great building block because he's a beast.
That's what I'm saying.
But their offense is scary because they can score with anybody at any given day. And now they got Jamison Williams back.
And honestly, they don't even have that good wide receivers. They just got decent wide receivers.
They got a group of dogs.
Like Amon-Ra is one of the best receivers in the NFL.
I think he's a top 15.
Statistically, yes. But like, who was Amon-Ra before Jared Goff?
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Jared Goff has been playing great, dude.
He's been awesome. I mean, I can read off the stats right here. He has a 65.3 percentage completion, 3,352 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, 7 picks, a quarterback rating of 97.9. I mean, that's really, really
That'll
good.
work.
That would work. That would definitely work. And he's got better stats than he did last year.
Yeah.
Last year, he had 19 touchdowns and 8 interceptions with a 91.5 quarterback rating.
So he improved in every statistic.
He did, except for his completion percentage. But that's okay. I could sacrifice that a
and
little bit.
They're throwing it a lot more now, too.
They
because are. And then like with Jamal Williams and stuff like that. Because, I mean, I think he's top 10 in touchdowns scored or something like that. Or top 5 maybe.
If they could get DeAndre Swift back to like what he's capable of.
Last year.
Yeah. they're going to be scary because if they're able to run the football, throw the football, it's just their defense.
And their offensive line is excellent.
They're good. They're a good offense. I can't believe we're saying that about the Lions in week 14, but they are a good offense. They really are. They could score with the best of them. It's just their defense is going to hold them back, for a long playoff run.
Flip side, do you believe that the Vikings are the worst 10-3 team in history? Don't do me like this.
I don't know the stats on top of my head, but if I go to eye test, I look at them and I say, ain't no way in hell they are a 10-3 team. There ain't no way in hell. Ain't no way in hell. There are some games where I'm like, this team is not that good. They're not.
Nick.
I don't think they're. I think.
Come on, Nick.
Do you think they're a top 3 team in the NFC?
In the NFC?
No way. No shot. I would take the Cowboys over them, and I would take the Niners. No doubt about that. And of course, I'm taking the Eagles.
Well, Eagles already beat them down.
And the Cowboys are way better than the Vikings.
I'm sorry. Who did the Cowboys struggle with this week?
Oh, I'm sorry. When they played, what was the score when the Cowboys played the Vikings?
They smacked them.
40-3.
It happens.
They're way better than them, and they beat them in Minnesota.
It happens.
They beat them. I know it happens. That's why I'm making a case like the Cowboys are better than the fucking Vikings.
Oh my god. Okay, so all right, let's go with that narrative. Okay, are the Vikings? That's
a good narrative. I'm happy to go there. Yeah.
Okay, are the Vikings better than the almighty, unbeatable Bills? They went up to Buffalo and beat them. That's your logic.
I mean, look. No, it was based on the way the game was played. A blowout versus
I'll blow you out.
A blowout against the Cowboys versus miscues on the Bills are two different things. If you watch that football game, the Bills really fucked up. They fumbled.
I've been telling you they blow and look in close games late.
But that doesn't make them a better team. They're not better than the Bills. They're just not a better team. I know they beat them, but they beat them in overtime, and I get that. But the Bills made key mistakes down the stretch, and they had a comfortable lead. They let the Vikings back in it, and they squandered the lead. That's that. But I would trust the Bills to beat the Vikings on a neutral field.
I think the Bills.
I would take the Bills any day of the week.
So would I. But I'm just saying that they're a 10-3 team, and they're not getting any love.
But that's what I'm saying. If I'm going by a neutral field, because that's what I do, I don't go by the homes and the ways. If I think a neutral field and I go on eye test, I look at the Cowboys season and I look at the Vikings season. I look at that. The body of work. I see the Cowboys are better than the Vikings.
Let me tell you this.
They are.
You see the way the Cowboys demolished them?
Yeah.
I would bet my house that if they play again in the playoffs, the Vikings win that game.
You're going based on.
I'm going based on when you humiliate a team like that.
That could be true. And look, I'm not going to disagree with that because if I recall, the Jets got smoked by New England. This was years ago. Got smoked by New England. Then the Jets came into New England and beat them in divisional round. Remember? Can't wait.
Mark Sanchez.
They got their ass blown out.
Yeah.
I think it was the butt fumble year. They got blown out that game.
Was it?
It was the butt fumble year. They got blown out on Thanksgiving. Then they went to New England and they beat New England. So I can't disagree with that logic. And it's the history says that could definitely happen. But right now, the Cowboys are a much better team than the Vikings. And I see it on eye test, and they just played each other a couple weeks ago, and you saw the result. You saw the result, Mike.
Yeah, Nick, and it was a down game. I get it. I know it happens, but how do you trust Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, and CeeDee Lamb over Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, and Justin Jefferson?
Easy, bro.
What?
I would trust Dak Prescott over Kirk Cousins.
I'm not. No. I'm saying as a whole. I'm saying as a whole. Are you taking CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott or Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson?
You're going by the wide receiver aspect.
Yeah, because Justin Jefferson, I believe, is the best wide receiver in football.
And that's great. If
he's on pace for 2 bands.
If they shut down Justin Jefferson, you saw what happened to them.
What cornerback is shutting down Justin Jefferson?
I don't know. Darius Slay did.
Darius Slay did. He will bust Trayvon Diggs' ass.
And that could be the case. But the Cowboys could also shadow him, put 2 guys on him and say, okay, hey, Mr. Thielen, go beat us. Go ahead, Mr. Osborne, go beat us.
Do you trust Thielen or do you trust Noah Brown? Well, I guess they got Gallup. So I mean, but Thielen, Gallup,
Gallup has played really well.
He has. He's caught on because he's back. He's
had
healthy.
a bad game last week. He was non-existent, but the Cowboys also won by 1 million points.
Thielen, Gallup, or to me are like this.
Okay, that's fine. I will take a Gallup over Thielen right now because I feel like Gallup has more juice left in the tank than Thielen.
Yep.
Me personally.
I got you.
I love Thielen. He's a great route runner, but his time is past. But in terms of who I trust, I would 100% trust the Cowboys over the Vikings in the playoffs.
Fuck no.
1,000%.
I've been watching for 27 years. You can't trust him. Mike McCarthy isn't in a big spot.
You're going by the history. I'm going by this
I'm
year.
going by right now. And the Vikings, I think, are better than the Cowboys.
I'm going by Micah Parsons in the playoffs. He would harass Kirk Cousins just like he did a couple weeks ago when they whooped their ass 40-3.
Well, I'm
not defending the Cowboys, but I am going to defend them being a better team than the Vikings, which I definitely agree with.
The Cowboys now need to be careful because the Texans' game plan took Micah Parsons out of the game. I didn't even know he played. You need to be careful with that. The Texans, dude, that's alarming. It was
the Texans. Look, is the Texans? They won, but it was one of those games where you're like, oh man, we got to play the Texans. All right, let's go play them.
Dak Prescott through the game-losing interception, but the problem was that the Texans stink and they couldn't do it. They played a bad team. They got bailed out.
I completely agree with you, but I still think the Cowboys are a better team than the Vikings. I look at the Vikings and they do not do. They're not impressive to me. If you take out Justin Jefferson, what the fuck you got?
But you can't take out. So if you take out CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys would be even worse.
You can take them away because look what the Eagles did. They gave them the blueprint. They stopped Justin Jefferson, and what the fuck did they do? They did nothing, Mike.
Nicky, I don't know.
They did nothing, bro.
Nick, they gave them the blueprint. They won 8 of their next 9. They're 9-0 in one-score games. That's good football.
That is good football. I'm not saying that, but they also, when I look at them, they're not like the team that I'm like, wow, dude, they could beat the Eagles. They are that team that. Well,
that's because the Eagles are the best team in the league.
But you just said the Cowboys are the team that could beat the Eagles. So if the Cowboys are the better team than the Vikings.
No. Because here's the thing.
That's my point.
If the Vikings had to come on the road and play outdoors in the cold, yeah, they're at a disadvantage. That's like Miami going to Buffalo this week. I meant for the element factor, I would give Dallas the edge because Dallas is used to playing in Philly. Dak Prescott, they've played there. But I'm saying...
Well, the Vikings, they play in a dome.
They play in a dome, and that's what I'm saying.
The elements would fuck them up too.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I would say, I wouldn't fear them coming to Philly in January. I wouldn't fear the Vikings coming to Philly in January.
No, neither would I.
I would welcome that.
Dallas, you would.
Dallas, I would a little bit simply because I think they're better in the elements. But I think that those teams are fairly similar.
I think Dallas is a better football team than the Minnesota Vikings. I think the Minnesota Vikings are the 4th best team in the NFC. Right now, they are. And
even at that, though, you're acting like that's bad.
I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's a bad thing. And that's what I'm saying. I don't think they're a top 3 team. But when you're 10-3, you should be a top 3 team.
I believe they are. I believe they're the 3rd best.
That's what you believe, and that's okay. Yeah. I'm here to argue that they're not. I don't see anything that just impresses me with this team. I just don't. They just lost by 11 points to the Lions.
You just told me the Lions were good.
But you were 10-2. How the fuck are you 10-2 and you're underdog against a 5-7 team on the road?
That's just Vegas playing, bro.
And they were right.
But they're surging.
And they were right.
So
that's what I'm saying is if you are 10-2, ain't no way in hell you should be an underdog.
So you're confused how a 10-2 team loses to a 5-7 win team, but you're not confused that a 9-3 team almost gets beat by a 1-10 team.
No, because that 1-10 team, because again, it's one of those games where you're like, fuck, we got to play the Texans. All right, let's just go beat their ass and let's just get out of here. I don't think, if it was any other opponent where it was a predominant opponent like the Eagles, I think the Cowboys would be up. I think they would be up for that game more than they did against the Texans. Personally, I do.
The Vikings play the Colts this week. They're going to win. So if the Cowboys, stop it. So if the Cowboys lose to the Jaguars, are you concerned? Are they still the 3rd best team in the NFC?
If they lose to the Jaguars,
yeah.
I mean, the Jaguars are a much more formidable opponent than the Colts.
Oh, so who's a more formidable opponent than the Colts? The Lions, right? You would say that, right?
I could say that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, you should say that.
Yeah, no, I will say that. The Texans are the worst team in the league.
I know. I know. That's what I'm saying. It's concerning because the Cowboys can lay an egg at any time.
That's fine. And they did, but they won.
I know. Luckily.
But I also feel like the Vikings kind of lay eggs and they just kind of just squeak by. They just squeak by. They just fucking squeak by. I don't know what they do. Like the Jets game, they won by 5. They get smoked by Dallas. They got lucky against the Patriots. You know it, and I know it. They got lucky.
See what I mean? They're lucky against Buffalo. They're lucky against the Patriots. Everything is surrounded by luck.
Mike,
why not? Are they just not good teams,
lucky, bro? You know damn well they got fucking hosed. That was a touchdown on Hunter Henry.
They beat Miz. It was a touchdown. I agree.
That is bullshit. But they got robbed. So I'll go back to that. Then they got blown out by Dallas. Then they miraculously beat the Bills. That was a miracle.
Now it's a miracle.
It's a 100%.
First it was luck. Now it's a miracle.
The ball bounced their way. It did. Let's just call it what it is. The ball bounced their way. Okay, hear me out. Then they beat the Commanders by 3. Okay.
Mr. Passion, you love them. They're a playoff team. 7-5-1.
I think that was his only loss too, right?
Yes.
Mr. Passion.
And they were winning by 10 and they came back and won.
Yes, they did. They came back and won. And that's fine. Mm-hmm. They beat the Cardinals by 8. Okay. They beat the Dolphins. That was a good win for them. And I'll say that. That's where I was like, okay, they got my attention. But then I started watching them and I'm like, 10-2? Mm-hmm. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
You got to put your glasses on.
Maybe. But like, I'm looking at the body of work, right? Mm-hmm. They crushed the Packers week 1.
Regular.
They get smoked by the Eagles. And why they get smoked by the Eagles? Because Justin Jefferson couldn't do shit. And that's going to be the same blueprint that every team in the playoffs is going to have. Shut down Jefferson and let Dalvin Cook run on us because I don't think he can. And
Dalvin Cook slipped off.
Correct.
He did.
Correct. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You take out Jefferson, the Vikings are very one-dimensional, bro. They really are. You going to trust Osborne and Thielen to beat you with Kirk Cousins slinging the rock? I'm not buying that.
Nick,
one.
They're 10-3, Nick.
They're 10-3, but they're not impressive, Mike. And that's my argument. They're not an impressive team. They beat the Saints by 3. You think the Saints are garbage, right? Which they are. The Saints are garbage. They beat them by 3.
Uh-huh.
Is that a bad win?
I mean, they won.
That's my thing with the Cowboys. They won. Right? They won.
We will see. Your day's coming.
You made my point. Thank you. I love you.
But you told me the Saints defense was. You told me the Saints defense was for real.
I think the Saints they're a quarterback away.
So old Kirk Cousins pulled it out, huh?
I mean, yeah, he did.
But the Saints But
the Saints stink.
No,
that's what you told me.
But you told me they were excellent and just a quarterback away, and Dennis Allen's the GOAT.
I think the Saints have a good, formidable team. I just think they're missing a quarterback. That's all. Anyways, I just think that the Vikings are the 4th best team. I think Dallas is 2nd, and I think the Niners are 3rd. And I believe that because I think I trust Dallas's offense over the Niners right now because of the quarterback. I know Brock Purdy, it's cool, it's Mr. Irrelevant, story, the narrative. I get that. But Dak Prescott got $100 and something million for a reason. He's a good quarterback.
I agree with that. So Kirk Cousins got all that guaranteed.
So to put a Brock Purdy-led team over a Dak Prescott with a good defense is foolish to me.
Yeah, it's
foolish. And I think I think the Cowboys had the best chance to beat the Eagles. It's not going to happen, but they had the best chance. That's why I think they are better than the Vikings. Nobody fears the Vikings, bro. Nobody. I can guarantee you that.
Big mistake.
I can guarantee
fear them because they're a good team.
You can fear them all you want. Do you think they're going to a championship game?
It depends who they draw.
They're a divisional bounce out.
Depends, dude. Like I said, if they who they're going to play because they're going to play the Seahawks or the Giants.
The Seahawks could beat them. What? You don't think that?
The Vikings are better than the fucking Seahawks, dude. Are you crazy?
I didn't say they were not better.
No, the Vikings can. The Seahawks cannot beat the Vikings.
But the Seahawks would have a chance to beat them. Yes, they would.
No.
They're crazy.
You're wrong, bro.
Anyway, we'll move on from that topic because it's going to come down the pipeline because the playoffs are creeping up.
They're creeping up, and I'm coming. I can't wait. We're going to come back to this, and I'm going to laugh my ass off.
I'm going to laugh my ass off when the fucking Vikings are a first-round exit because you know it's coming, and I know it, dude.
I'm going to have COVID or the flu if that happens. So I won't be here. Nick, give me some. Phil, give me something to transition to the Rams and the Raiders.
I like that.
The Acco Raiders fall again, 17-16 to the new up-and-coming quarterback in the NFL, the Bake Show, Baker fucking Mayfield. I finally have been able to say it.
A straight face, bro.
It's been so long. and he
It has.
finally delivered for me.
It has. It has.
No. That performance by the Raiders is embarrassing.
Yeah, it's another blown lead. It's another blown lead where they completely
What went wrong?
The lack of playmaking down the stretch. You know, you're up 16-3. You need a first round to ice the game, and you failed to do so. You couldn't get 1 yard, right? You're at 31, and you get stuffed. And that's where good teams show that they're a good team. They're able to convert that 3rd and 1, ice the game, take a knee, and it's over. But they're a bad team. They can't convert on them on 3rd and 1s. They are punting the football away and giving the team more chances to come back and win the football game. And that's exactly what happened. When you leave bad teams into the fight, they're gonna there is chances they could find a way to win that game. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. I'm not saying the Raiders were a good team, but the Rams were in disarray. It was 16-3. They were in disarray. They were completely ready for complete rebuild, high draft picks, whatever they were trying to do.
The Raiders really some shit.
The Raiders are terrible. It's just the talent is there.
Nick, do you think that McDaniels should be fired after the season? I do, bro. Listen to this. He started 6-0 with Denver. Went on their bye week, then lost 8 of 10.
Okay.
Since that moment, as a head coach, he's 7-24.
I don't know what to say about that.
Josh McShit. Josh McDog shit is his name. Because something's off, dude. This team, the fall that they had from last year, and this year there's been no drama, no turmoil, no racist head coach. No manslaughter.
There's been no distractions. I agree.
And to implode like this, when you have these leads, it's just, he doesn't deserve to be a head coach. He needs to go back to Bill Belichick and help Mac Jones, because that's a whole different story. Because Mac Jones is in hell with that squad. But yeah, for me, it's over for the Raiders, dude. Josh McDaniels is a failure. The experiment's over.
So, out of their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm discrediting the Saints game. The Saints, they blew them out 24-0, right?
Yep.
And those 6 losses, do you know the point differential?
No.
27 points. 27 points. That's insane. You lost 6 games by 27 points total. They're not far.
Oh, they far.
No, they're not far off. No, they're not far off, Mike. I'm telling you, they're not far off. They are a couple pieces away from being legit contenders. They need pieces.
They're a head coach away from being legit contenders.
Maybe that's it's a good argument. I'm not going to make the case. What I am saying is, I think they should keep McDaniels. I think they should bring in more defensive players and say, all right, look, we got you defensive pieces. You have the offensive pieces. Go do your thing. You have everything. We gave
21.
You everything. And you do something for me. So, 27 points in fucking 6 losses. They're close. I don't care what anybody says they're close. They're a close team.
Uh-huh.
That's an average.
They're about as close to
Mike,
being good as we are of finding life on Mars.
Bro, that's fucking crazy, bro. They lost by an average of under 4 points a game. They're close. They're close.
I know, bro.
They are, and that's what I'm saying. They just need defensive help.
We're approaching Mars,
and you could make a case they need a new head coach. And I can't disagree. I don't have a leg to stand on. But what I'm saying is the offensive genius, another year in the system, I feel like his players can buy in a little bit more. I don't think his players have, no players, to my knowledge, have came out and said, oh, McDaniels this, McDaniels that. I feel like they love them.
I'm with you. I actually do agree there, oddly enough.
They actually like them. Like, every report that I read, Josh Jacobs, they say they always defend McDaniels. It's not him, it's us. We got to execute, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not him. They actually have his back. They support him. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, you get a couple of pieces on defense, some edge rushers, some linebackers, definitely corners and safety. We could patch those, those little holes up. We could be locked and loaded for next year because we had the offense. You get Renfro back involved. That's the biggest mystery. I don't understand it. I am just going to just leave that be.
Yeah.
And just see what happens with that, because it just doesn't make any sense how a Pro Bowl wide receiver is completely non-existent this year, especially with Devontae Adams. But that's a whole different ball game. They say suffered injuries. Waller, he hasn't been healthy all year.
Yeah.
So I feel like if they can get pieces and keep them intact, they will be okay. They're not far. They're not. It seems like that because they've been blowing a lot of leads, but they're not far off from being real contenders in the NFL.
Man, you can't let it go, bro.
I'm not gonna let it go.
Man, you can't let it go, bro.
27 points and 6 losses. You're close, bro. Okay, you are. You can laugh all you want, bro. You're close. You're a close team.
You're Echo Raiders, bro. You're
get
ride
the
or
fuck
die.
outta here, bro.
Speaking of ride or die, the Bake Show.
Yeah, you're a ride and die with him, bro.
Bake Show put foots in your ass on that beautiful Thursday night.
Impressive.
We watched it together.
It was great.
No, that was cool. What do you think I was happy as hell for him because of all the shit he went through. I think he showed that he can play in this league. I don't think he's a backup yet. But what do you think about his future? Like, would you, if you're Baker Mayfield, do you stay in LA? And I think Matt Stafford has maybe a year left. If not, he's done. Because I think some injuries and shit like that. Or would you go start for a putrid team? Because if I'm Baker Mayfield, I'm staying put.
I'm staying in LA.
Because he can run McVay's system.
I'm staying in LA. If Stafford gets hurt next year, you have an opportunity, right?
Yep.
Because there's no guarantee he's going to stay healthy.
Correct.
So there's an opportunity there. And I think Baker would be the number 2 quarterback by that time.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I think you agree with that, correct? I don't think it would be Wolford or Perkins or whatever. I think it would be Baker. So I think the situation is good for him. And I think McVay is good for him.
Me too.
Like, I feel like McVay is a player's coach where, like, he lets you be you in a sense. Baker's kind of he's kind of like an open guy. He don't give a fuck. He's just him. He's himself.
Love him.
And I think that's like, it's hard to respect that, you know what I mean? Like as an older head coach, you know what I mean? Like they're always by the book. But now that like the new school kids with McVay and him being a player's coach, I feel like Baker would work out really well with them. So if I was Baker, I would probably stay put.
I think he is staying put too.
And I think that's, even if he was a backup, it's not a detriment because I feel like an opportunity is going to come. And I don't want Baker to take the wrong opportunity with a bad team, because if he goes to a bad team like he did this year, with Carolina, and he did the same thing, same performance, the team sucks, another head coach gets fired under Baker, he'd be done.
Yeah.
His career would be over with, and he would be a complete backup for the rest of his career. Whereas I feel like LA can kind of revitalize his career in a weird way. Maybe not this year, but maybe next year, some point. If Stafford gets hurt.
I mean, look, I'm not saying he's Steve Young, but Steve Young was trash with the Bucs, and then he went to the Niners and blew up.
Yeah,
it has happened before.
It has happened.
Yeah.
And history, I mean, look, it's very rare, but history has shown it is possible.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for the guy. I am. I don't want to come here and shit on him.
Yeah.
That's just not who I am.
I'm trying to get his jersey.
I objectively watched the games, but when he was in Carolina, he didn't belong in the league, Mike.
He was awful.
He didn't belong in the league.
But look, he had Matt Rule, who's terrible, and that's evident because Steve Wilkes has turned the team around.
And
they're in the race.
Completely fair. And Baker Mayfield, you know what? Shout out to him, because he had 48 hours to come up and study the playbook and play a football game. So he had no time. And he still went in there, completed 22 of 35, 230 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. He got sacked 4 times, so he was been hit. So I feel like he played pretty good for somebody who didn't even have much time to prepare.
Yeah, it's crazy. A 98-yard game-winning drive.
And that was
2 days later.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just... And then the throw to Van Jefferson was a dime.
Yeah, and then again, it's just boneheaded plays by the Raiders. You know what I mean? They get
dumb shit.
They got a pick.
He said it too. He said I was a little confused that they were in press coverage on third down or with 15 seconds left.
Yes.
He said I was a little confused by that. So
single high coverage. What are you doing? If my guy gets around you and he gets one step, I'm throwing it there, and that's exactly what happened. And he threw a dime.
Yeah.
Threw it right in the breadbasket. I can't say anything about it. It was a great pass. It's like it's amazing what he did with the Rams. I mean, if you look at the last 4 games against, when he was with Carolina, he didn't throw any of that what he did against the Raiders. 196, 155, 215, 197. In 48 hours with the Rams, he threw 230 yards.
Yeah.
And it's
wait, were you reading Baker's stats or were you reading Josh Allen's last 6 games?
Oh, no, I was reading Baker's stats.
Oh, okay.
That's legitimately Baker's stats. Oh,
I know. He was terrible. He was. There's no defending him in Carolina. I had to throw that dig in there, but there was no defending him in Carolina. I didn't say a word when he was in Carolina.
Well, Josh Allen is struggling, and that is a fucking fact.
It's concerning.
It is concerning because I have him in my fantasy team, and he's supposed to be that guy to carry me, and I'm a little nervous about it.
All right, guys. Last segment for the night. We are introducing something new called "Would You Rather." Let's see how this could go.
Yeah.
First one. Sorry to Kyler Murray. That was awful last night. That sucks, man. Torn ACL. He's out for a minute, and the type of quarterback that Kyler Murray is, not good for him moving forward.
Yeah, because
he's not a drop back and pick you apart for 35.
And he's going to be out for next year too.
If he comes back at Thanksgiving, I mean, he's going to be out for 2 years.
You're looking at Deshaun Watson.
Exactly. It's the same thing. 700 days away
without the allegations.
Correct. Would you take, assuming Kyler's healthy, that didn't happen last night, would you take on Russell Wilson's contract or would you take on Kyler's?
You're going to call me crazy for this. I would take Russ's contract.
Wow. I am shocked at that.
Go ahead. And I'll give you my reason, but go ahead. You can go first.
I would take Kyler's contract.
Okay.
Because I genuinely believe that Russ is cooked.
Okay. That's fine.
And I'm not a Kyler Murray fan. I think Kyler Murray's mid, but I still believe that there's more juice in Kyler than there is in Russ. And a mega pause to that.
See, I kind of, and I see your point, right? I do. I get it. You say he has a little bit more juice. You're saying more in the tank.
Yep.
Whereas I feel like when I watch Kyler Murray, I feel like I already saw his ceiling.
Absolutely.
I know what I'm getting. And with Russ in Denver, did I see his ceiling yet?
Oh yeah.
You saw his ceiling, right?
Absolutely. I mean, if he ever had a ceiling.
And this is where I will defend Russ. If I feel like it's fixable if they can get a better head coach.
Only one head coach could fix Russell Wilson.
Pete Carroll?
No. Sean Payton.
Maybe.
Is the only head coach that they could bring in and you would immediately see him at least improve. But I genuinely think that it's over for Russell Wilson. He doesn't have his legs anymore.
That could be true, but I don't think we saw Russ's ceiling in Denver. I can't. There's no way. I don't think we saw his ceiling. So I'm going to give him another year in the system, get acclimated to the area, the team, build camaraderie with teammates, and then see where they end up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like it's been a bad year. I feel like they're not on the same pages. You were telling me a couple weeks ago, Russell Wilson was using, Seattle's old plays and for audibles.
They're audibles at the line of scrimmage.
It's just like things like that, miscommunications. Like, I feel like they could be fixable. And knowing Kyler Murray's ceiling, based on what I saw on my eye test, I will lean towards Russ because I feel like that team can win a Super Bowl if they had a competent offense. If they just fix a little bit of that offense and get a little bit better on offense, and Russ is, not what he used to be, but what he can be, I feel like that can be fixable. So I'm going to go with Russ on that one.
All right, next up. Would you rather have, for the next 5 years, Andy Reid or Bill Belichick?
Andy Reid.
Wow. Shocked me twice in a row. I would also choose Andy Reid because Andy Reid's a better coach than Bill Belichick.
I disagree with that, but I will say Andy Reid is a more modern coach versus Bill Belichick. Like, I feel like Andy Reid is more creative.
Yep.
Whereas Bill Belichick is more of an old school style of coach.
Yeah.
Run the football, play good defense. Andy Reid gets creative. He does tricks on offense. Like, I feel like he's more to the modern era of football.
My issue with Bill Belichick is ego. And to be honest, bro, without Tom Brady, he's never done anything.
I mean,
he didn't do anything in Cleveland.
To the playoffs with him.
He did.
That's impressive.
But Josh McDaniels was there. He's the best offensive coordinator, I believe, when he's an offensive coordinator.
I agree with that.
But here's the thing. Matt Jones this year, for all intents and purposes, he's playing okay with what he has. Like, he has Matt Patricia, Nelson Aguilar, Devontae Parker. Matt Jones he's good.
But he's got Joe Judge and Matt Patricia calling the offensive.
Yeah, like, it's a joke.
That's
and Bill Belichick is setting him up to fail. And
I agree.
It's not right.
I agree with that.
But I think it's Andy Reid, and I do believe that overall Andy Reid's the better coach, but he'll never get the recognition because Bill Belichick had Tom Brady. That's how I feel.
I agree. And I think Mac Jones is on his last leg in New England.
Yeah.
I think New England's going to get a quarterback.
We'll see.
Running style.
Dak Prescott or Jalen Hurts to lead your franchise moving forward?
Jalen Hurts. I think he's a higher ceiling right now.
I also believe Jalen Hurts. I believe he's a better decision maker. I believe that they are similar throwers, and I believe that Jalen Hurts has more running ability.
I agree. I think Dak has a few injuries where I'm like, I'd rather take the healthier quarterback. Same, similar skill set, but I think Hurts can run better. And I think passing wise, you could probably lean towards Dak. But if you took Jalen Hurts on the passing, I'm not mad about it because he's been excellent this year. And
Jalen Hurts, though, I said it, decision making.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a better decision maker because Dak still does some dumb shit.
3 picks? That's it.
Yeah, the proof is right there.
That proof is in the pudding.
All right, and then our last one before we get out of here. Jared Goff or Derek Carr moving forward?
I'm a Raider, man.
Put 16 on my chest.
I'm a Raider, bro. But I'm gonna go Derek Carr. Future?
Yeah, moving forward. Like if you had a
next year.
Yeah, moving forward.
I'll go with Derek Carr, but you could definitely make a case for Jared Goff.
Yeah. So this was my favorite one actually, and I feel like if I say Jared Goff, I'm getting caught up in the moment. But Jared Goff has been to a Super Bowl. Jared Goff was in that 50-point shootout with Patrick Mahomes, going one for one with them, and he turned around the Lions. Like, not that he turned them around, but the Lions are respectable this year.
Mm-hmm.
They are. And I just feel like Jared Goff has accomplished more than Derek Carr. I feel like Derek Carr has, for the large part, underachieved. Like, he's had a few good years, but again, it's hard because it's the Raiders. Like, that organization just sucks.
Yeah.
So, like, I never feel like he got his full potential. Like, I feel like if Derek Carr had Sean McVay, he would blow up.
So it's coaching with you.
For me, it's coaching, but I think right now, moving forward, I think Jared Goff is I think he's a little bit better.
Yeah. I mean, the Super Bowl aspect appearance.
Like, he's been to a Super Bowl. And look, the defense won that. The defense kept him in that Super Bowl because he played bad.
Yeah, he did. He was terrible.
But again, it's his first Super Bowl and you're playing against Tom Brady. So give him a little bit.
But he made it there.
He's been there.
That's tough.
I know.
It's not easy. Aaron Rodgers hasn't done it in 11 years.
I know. He's mid.
So it's tough.
I
It's
know.
not easy. So
Yeah,
I could see
Yeah,
Jared
so
Goff.
I'm rolling Goff. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. That concludes episode 127. I'm going to pass it off to Theories, and we will see you guys next episode.
Thursday, baby. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We appreciate all the love, support, and the comments. If you guys haven't done so already, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on YouTube. We're also available on propshq.com, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeart, Megaphone, Stitcher,
And all that other shit.
Also, follow us on all of our social platforms as you do not want to miss our daily content on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And we will see you guys this Thursday at P&I, baby.